Greetings, fellow adventurers, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome aboard, as we set sail on a journey through Jah Wobble. John Joseph Wardle, born 11 August 1958, known by the stage name Jah Wobble, is an English-based guitarist and singer. He became known to a wider audience as the original bass player in Public Image Ltd. Pill in the late years and early years. He left the band after 2 albums. Following his departure from Pill, he developed a solo career. In 2012, he reunited with fellow Pill guitarist Keith Levene for Metal Box in dub and the album Yin and Yang. Since 2013, he has been one of the featured pundits on Sunday mornings. The Virtual Jukebox segment of BBC Radio 5 Lives Up All Night with Dotun Adebayo. His autobiography, Memoirs of a Geezer, was published in 2009. As we venture forward, let's take a closer look at early life and its impact on our understanding. Wardle was born in Stepney, East London. His father, Harry Eugene Wardle, worked as a postman, while his mother, Kathleen Bridget Fitzgibbon, was a school and county hall secretary. Wobble grew up with his family in Whitechapel's Clichy estate in London's East End. He is a long-time friend of John Lydon Johnny Rotten, whom he had met in the years at London's Kingsway College. The two formed half of the group of friends known as the Four Johns, along with John Gray and John Simon Ritchie, later known as Sid Vicious. Jah Wobble acquired his stage name through the drunken, mumbled version of Wardle's name by Sid Vicious, which Wobble kept because people would never forget it. In this chapter, we'll be unraveling the enigma of musical career and discovering its transformative power. In his early life and career, by his own admission, Wardle was given to occasional bouts of aggression, exacerbated by heavy drinking and drug use. As a result, he ended up living in a squat with John Gray in West London, while Lydon formed the Sex Pistols. With admittedly large builder's hands, he had experimented with the guitar, but found playing bass a more connected and whole-body experience, influenced in part by admiring Bob Marley's and the Wailers bassist Aston Family Man Barrett on stage in 1975. Wardle was as critical of his friend Vicious's bass playing as John Lydon, and had hence played in experimentation sessions with Lydon. After he burned the furniture of his squat mates in order to stay warm, they left him alone there with a mattress, a headboard and his Music Man copy bass. Get ready to uncover the mysteries surrounding Public Image Ltd. Pill as we navigate its intriguing terrain. Public Image Ltd. Pill. Following the Sex Pistols breakup, Lydon approached Wobble about forming a band. Both had similarly broad musical tastes, and were avid fans of reggae and world music. The band began rehearsing together in May 1978, although remained unnamed until July 1978, when Lydon officially named the band Public Image Ltd. The Limited was not added until several months later, after the Muriel Spark novel The Public Image. Wobble's bass playing drew heavily on dub, which has remained an important feature of his music. Having experimented with Lydon pre-Sex Pistols breakup, he had written a simple repetitive bass line on which Lydon wrote Public Image. Pill debuted in October 1978 with Public Image, which reached number 9 on the UK charts, and also performed well on Import in the US. Wobble has stated that the first Pill album was recorded so quickly due in part to the bassist's altercations with a sound engineer and men at a nearby pub. He has, however, dismissed claims accusing him of extreme malice, such as setting fire to the former drummer for The Fall, Carl Burns, while Burns was session drumming for Pill. Wobble co-wrote and contributed bass and drums to Pill's second album Metal Box, which was released in 1979. However, he grew increasingly frustrated by the lackluster creative atmosphere in the band, which he felt stifled his artistic ambitions and Pill's creative potential. Besides differences in artistic vision, further conflicts were brought on in part by heavy drug and alcohol abuse in the band. Wobble then recorded his debut album The Legend Lives On, Jah Wobble in Betrayal, making unauthorized use of material from Metal Box, for which he was summarily fired from Pill in late 1980. Wobble also released at least one single during his period as a member of Pill, his 1978 single Dreadlock Don't Deal in Wedlock, in which he recites Edward Lear's The Owl and the Pussycat and finishes with the immortal line, "Love and marriage is like ice cream and cabbage. Dreadlock Don't Deal in Wedlock." Now, let's shift our attention to early post-Pill years. Soon after leaving Pill, Wobble formed The Human Condition with guitarist Dave Animal Maltby and Pill's original drummer, Jim Walker. The Human Condition toured the UK, Europe, and US in 1981, and made 2 cassette-only releases of their live shows Live at the Collegiate Theatre and Live in Europe. The post-Pill years saw Wobble also collaborating with members Holder Chukay and Jakey Lee Bezit on Chukay's solo projects, notably On the Way to the Peak of Normal and Rome Remains Rome, and Full Circle, released in 1984. In 1983, Wardle appeared on the LP Snake Charmer build as a co-leader alongside guitarist The Edgevu, Chukay, Lee Bezit, and producer Franois Kevorkian. Jah Wobble's Invaders of the Heart was formed in 1982. The original line-up was Ollie Marland on keys, who went on to become Tina Turner's musical director, Annie Whitehead on trombone, Neville Murray on percussion, and a musician named only as Cliff on drums. By 1983, Lee Partis was the drummer. Trumpeter Harry Beckett and pedal steel player B.J. Cole regularly performed with the group. By 1985, Jah Wobble's heavy drinking and drunken brawls were having an effect on his life. Halfway through the recording of that album, Som's October 1986, Wobble stopped drinking. From then through to the present day, he has remained clean and sober. He then did a variety of day jobs, whilst continuing to perform and record his music in what spare time he had. These jobs included a long stretch with the London Underground. In an oft-quoted tale, it is related that he once, at Tar Hill Underground Station via the public address system, regaled commuters with the deadpan announcement, "I used to be somebody. I repeat, I used to be somebody." By 1987, due to the repeated prompting of his friend and former bandmate, percussionist Neville Murray, Wobble reformed the Invaders of the Heart. Armed with a live recording of a concert he had made with a new line-up of musicians during a European tour in 1988, Wobble travelled to New York City's New Music Seminar in 1989 to get back into the music industry. Wobble was able to secure an 11th-hour record deal with a small European record label. The live album, Without Judgment, was recorded in the Netherlands and was released in November 1989. Following the relative success of Without Judgment, Wobble has collaborated with many musicians, Brian Eno among them, and his explorations into world music predated much of the genre's popularity. Wobble hit his commercial peak with Rising Above Bedlam. While the album did not chart, it spawned 4 singles, including his first top 40 hit, Visions of You, featuring Sinead O'Connor. Jah Wobble's 1994 album Take Me to God was influenced by world music genres and contributions from a variety of artists of diverse cultural backgrounds, including Bob Mole, Dolores O'Riordan, and Jacob Demas, and was also a critical and commercial success. As we enter this new phase, let's uncover the impact of mid-ears to present on our broader topic. Although he has released recordings since the late 70s, Wobble has been particularly prolific from the mid-ears to the present. He now runs his own label, 30Hz Records, and tours regularly throughout the UK and Europe with his current band, Jah Wobble and the Invaders of the Heart. His music has spanned a number of genres, including ambient music and dance music, and in 2003, reworkings of traditional English folk songs. Wobble was part of the industrial music supergroup The Damage Manual, which formed in 2000 and consisted of Wobble on bass alongside former Pill and Killing Joke drummer Martin Atkins, Killing Joke guitarist J.D. Walker, and vocalist Chris Connolly, who had previously worked with Atkins as part of 2 other industrial music supergroups, Pigface and Murder Inc., the latter of which also featured Walker. He appeared on the group's self-titled debut album as well as the EP1, both of which were released on Atkins' Invisible Records label, but subsequently left the group after declining to participate in their tour of the US. A collaboration with his wife, the Chinese-born cousin player Zilan Liao, was entitled Chinese Dub. He also performed at the 2008 Rhythm Festival. Jah Wobble and the Chinese Dub Orchestra won the Cross-Cultural Collaboration category for their album Chinese Dub in the inaugural Songlines Music Awards, announced on 1 May 2009, which were the New World Music Awards organised by the UK-based magazine Songlines. In September 2009, John Lydon reformed Pill for a series of concerts in late 2009. Despite Lydon's invitation to join, Jah Wobble did not feature in the line-up since he considered the wages offered insufficient and disagreed with the choice of venues. At an impromptu appearance at the Music Pit Festival in Bridlington Spa on 24 October 2010, where they were joined by vocalist Johnny Rotter of the Sex Pistols Experience, Wobble renewed his association with former Pill guitarist Keith Levene. In 2011, Wobble collaborated with Dewey Campbell, AES Warp Records artist Lonelady, in a project called Psychic Life. The debut album, Psychic Life, was inspired by disco, post-punk and psychography, and released by Cherry Red Records on 14 November 2011. Keith Levene contributed to 3 tracks on the album. A digital-only EP, Psychic Life, fronted by the song Tightrope, was released in October 2011. In early 2012, after some planned Japan gigs were cancelled because of visa issues, Wobble and Levene played various UK clubs as Metal Box in dub. The visa issues were resolved and they played Fuji Rock Festival in July 2012. This was followed by the release of a 4-song, eponymous EP. An album entitled Yin and Yang was released in November 2012. Wobble has also collaborated with the British ambient group Marconi Union, the results of which were released as an album called Anomic on 30Hz Records in June 2013. In October 2013, 30Hz Records released Odds and Sods and Epilogues, an illustrated book to Jah Wobble's poetry. In 2015, Cherry Red Records released Redux, a 6-CD box set that spans nearly 4 decades of Wobble's music. It includes new tracks Merry Go Round and Let's Go Psycho. In May 2015, Jah Wobble and the Invaders of the Heart embarked on an extensive 6-month UK tour. They recorded the album The Usual Suspects, which was released on Music in 2017. A series of gigs in England from January to May 2017 was announced. As we progress, let's shine a spotlight on other activities and examine its intricate interplay within our topic. Jah Wobble studied part-time for 4 years at Birkbeck, University of London, graduating in 2000 with an upper second-class honours degree in the humanities. His autobiography, entitled Memoirs of a Geezer, Music, Life, Mayhem Serpent's Tail Books, London, was released in September 2009. It was well received by critics. He also writes occasional book reviews for The Independent. Get ready to uncover the mysteries surrounding personal life as we navigate its intriguing terrain. Wobble has 4 children, including music producer Natalie Wardle from his first marriage, and 2 sons with his second wife, the Chinese-born cousin player and harpist Zilan Liao. Wobble was brought up a Roman Catholic but later converted to Buddhism. In this chapter, we'll be unraveling the enigma of list of collaborators and discovering its transformative power. Jah Wobble past and present collaborators listed alphabetically. Moving ahead, let's uncover the hidden gems within discography and discover their significance. List of studio albums, with selected chart positions, sales figures and certifications. Let's now enter the realm of live and compilation albums and discover the fascinating stories it has to tell. 30Hz, a collection of diverse works from a creative genius 2000, largely live in Hartlepool and Manchester with Deep Space 2001, the early years 2001, Solaris, live in Concert 2002, live in Leuven with Jakey Bezit and Philip Jick 2004, I Could Have Been a Contender 2004, Redux Anthology 1978, 2015, Dark Luminosity 2023. I hope you learned something new today. Let me know what you found most interesting in the comments below.